Good morning, this is Dimitri Lascaris coming to you from Baghdad, Iraq on March 30th, 2024. I've never been to the country before, arrived here for the first time late last night. And today, my first full day in Baghdad, I will be speaking at length with a gentleman by the name of Hussein Barood. Hussein Barood is the elected spokesperson of an organization here in Iraq which is committed to ensuring that Iraq becomes a full-blown member of China's famous Belt and Road Initiative. He's also a Shia Muslim who was born and raised in Iraq, fought against the forces of Saddam Hussein, ultimately spent 4 years in an internment camp in the desert of Saudi Arabia, and emigrated to the United States. So he speaks English very well. He spent quite a while in the United States, but decided to return to Iraq in 2016. So we'll be hearing from him what prompted him to come back to Iraq and what the state of affairs is in the country today. In particular, what the status is of efforts to bring an end to the American occupation of this region. And secondly, he and I will then go on a tour of Baghdad, and he's going to be taking me to some of the more notable parts of the city and showing me some of the impacts of the American aggression and occupation on the city of Baghdad. So are you saying that all those buildings over there are the U.S. Embassy complex?
Yeah. These buildings are these. You see that building,
Yes.
Right? Yeah, that's the US.
And all those antennas?
Yes, all those antennas and everything.
What about all those towers over there? Is that part of the complex?
That's kind of close by because this is the green zone.
That's the green zone.
Yeah, so this is all part of the deal here.
But we can't go into that zone.
No, as you see the road?
Yes.
Only worker truck. You see that?
Yes.
Service and worker truck and things. You see that? Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yes. And in that way, this is just in the intersection. That's intersection, the Iraqi presidential castle. And that
It'll be on the right side.
Yes, it'll be on the right side when you go right. And see, politics, most of them, they have houses, they live here.
So I see they have a poster of Soleimani right at the outside of the green zone.
Right where the ambassador Romanisky can see them always. No, people are pissed. The Iraqis are pissed.
This is remarkable. So that's the U.S. Embassy is right over there.
Yeah, that's the presidential.
And that's the presidential.
Prime Minister لا أقدر. ليش؟ So we are right now heading toward the U.S. Embassy. There is
It's a checkpoint.
Whether you are allowed or not, let's see. يخلونا لو ما يخلونا.
If they ask you, you can just say I'm a Canadian journalist and I just wanted to visit the green zone.
I'll tell them.
Not many people even get to set foot in the green zone. We get the opportunity to stay in the green zone. This is what the streets of the green zone of Baghdad look like. I'll show you what a 5-star Iraqi hotel looks like in Baghdad.
This is the only hotel in the green zone. This is one of the fanciest lobbies I've seen.
This is mad. They even have bulletproof vests for sale for $100.
Oh no, honestly, I don't.
Very nice. This one, happy.
Welcome to Iraq.
Look at all the steam coming off you.
It's nice. What comes to mind when you think of a hotel in Baghdad, Iraq? Probably not a luxury one, but this is what $300 a night gets you in the capital of Iraq. Welcome to the Royal Tulip Hotel in the green zone of Baghdad. The green zone is what was set up by the US Army. It's basically the international zone. There's a lot of embassies, there's government. It's a pretty strict place. We are surrounded by 10-foot barbed wire walls and hundreds of checkpoints and Iraqi soldiers. Not many people even get to set foot in the green zone. We get the opportunity to stay in the green zone. A few of our friends pulled some strings. Let's show you what a 5-star Iraqi hotel looks like in Baghdad.
That's how far we can get.
So we've just been told by this soldier that we cannot get any closer than this to the U.S. Embassy.
And that's right.
Even
that's
though-
that's the U.S. Embassy, and that's the security for it.
Even though we told him that I'm a Canadian citizen, that wasn't enough to get us in. So, and as you can see, at the entrance to the embassy complex is this.
I mean, the funny thing is you can run by the Iraqi, you know, all the parliament, all that, but once you get to the U.S.
I know, unbelievable. You're barred from going anywhere close.
I'll take you to, you wanted to see central Baghdad?
Sure.
Yes, we'll do that. Zuha Hadid.
So this will be the Iraqi Central Bank.
Yes.
Wow, it's quite
Zuha
impressive.
Hadid.
Yeah.
Zuha Hadid designed BMW building. Zuha Hadid designed the Opera of Sydney.
Really?
The building. Oh yeah. She just right. Zuha Hadid. She was something.
It's an impressive story.
Yeah. The Berlin, Baghdad.
Did they build the rail?
It was at that time, and between Iraq and Berlin, there's supposed to be this. They connect Baghdad to Berlin and Baghdad.
Was it that they were actually connected by rail?
I mean, you can go there. Yes, they can go there, but they stopped it during the Second World War.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this used to be the Iraqi Prime Minister's residence here?
Yeah, that's المعهد العالي. Yeah, right now it's المعهد العالي لتأهيل القادة. The High Institute for developing leader.
And what is this mosque called?
Area was very bloody.
Wow, they all have
The Sunnis, they were controlling this area, and they were taking Shiite and killing them here.
bullet holes all along the.
Yes, yeah. See, they're all over. This street, one of the best, Baghdad's one of the best streets in Baghdad, actually. Shara Haifa.
And it was a center of a sectarian war.
Yeah.
Remarkable.
Al-Ja'afar.
This street here, 118 years old.
Yeah.
What's it?
You see
This
the
is
buildings?
oldest.
You see the buildings?
Yes.
This, you cannot tear down any one of them. You have to build it back the way how it was built. You see this one being renewed. You have to renew it. That one being renewed. You have to renew it the way has to be renewed the way how it was built.
This one has bullet holes on it too.
Yes.
Was there significant sectarian violence here as well?
Oh yeah. This area was heavily infected.
This was subjected to many suicide bombings.
Yes.
I'm sorry. So what?
Coffee shop place. I mean, most of the people who works in it from one family. 3 or 4 of them.
Wow.
That's al-Mutanabbis tree. That's books, basically. You're talking about the book store of Iraq. It's this tree.
Remarkable. And why are all the shops closed? Is this
It's Ramadan.
so they close for all of Ramadan?
Ramadan, or they open nighttime.
I see.
People, they come nighttime, enjoy time over here, families and things, and they open. See, they are opening right now.
So outside of Ramadan, these would normally be open at this time? These shops?
No, it's closed.
Uh-huh.
It's closed. They open. We stand right there every Friday morning, and we have our speeches. I'll send you some of them.
About the Bolton Road notion.
Initiative and about all what's going on. The dominant in the United States of Iraq and what should be done. We are publishing houses here.
These are all books. So, this is a cafe.
That's a cafe and bookstores. Cafe here and all this up and down bookstores. You see this old wall?
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Very good.
Okay, so Hussein, please remind us, what street are we on?
We are on Al-Mutanabbis Street, and it's basically the bookstore of Iraq.
The entire street.
Exactly, Al-Mutanabbis Street, and that figure, the statue, is for Al-Mutanabbi.
Was he a man of learning?
Poet.
A poet.
He's an old poet.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were saying that there was sectarian violence on the street.
Sectarian violence, sectarian bombing. We went in different places, there and here. Here is Al Shabandar coffee shop. Al Shabandar is one of the oldest families that have a coffee shop here in this place in Baghdad. More than 4 people of the Al Shabandar family, they actually got killed
By a suicide bomber.
by a suicide bomber, and it was ruined inside.
Did some group claim responsibility?
It's Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda, the Bin Laden people.
And
Wahhabis.
when did that happen approximately? Do you know what year?
During the sectarian
About 10 years ago, maybe?
violence, more than that.
More than that.
More than that. And
Could you remind me over here? We just stepped in there. This is a famous cafe.
this is basically a Rashid. Here is a Rashid Bank. See, Masraf al-Rashid.
Uh-huh.
Rashid Bank. You
Yes.
see that in English?
Yes.
And this is basically the branch in Al-Mutanabbis Street, and it has a number. The number of the branch is 235. See those numbers between 2 balls? 235. That's the branch.
And you were saying on the street that there's like a bookstore for every different type of specialty.
Yes.
Like one we saw was for accountants.
For accounting, and others for politics, others for قانونية. مكتبة المحاكم القانونية means this is specialty for courthouses and for law.
For the law.
Yeah, and we have 2 other bookstores, big ones for laws. Okay.
Right.
A lot of things here. If you want to print something, if you want to make stamps, if you want to do things, it's specialty. Everything you want, you will find it.
And this is the old Baghdad you were saying.
This is part of, this is one of the oldest area in Baghdad, actually. This is very old Baghdad. And this is Al-Qishla. We call it Sahat Al-Qishla, or Al-Qishla. Al-Qishla, basically, the Ottomans used to run Iraq and all this area from this place. The Sultan.
Wow, what is this? What is this large?
Al-Qishla. That's see, they open it. هاي القشلة يفتحونها بالليل لو ما يفتحونها. بالليل they open it during night time. Like if you want to stay night time, you can see inside of it.
And what is the function of this massive complex?
The Ottomans,
Yes.
Ottomans,
Yes.
they used to run Iraq and the whole area from this place.
It was more like the civil service operated from here.
The Sultan.
The Sultan himself.
The Sultan himself.
I see.
And then, after when the Ottomans lost the First World War to the British, and the Iraqi revolt against the British, a king was put into throne. So the king started his work as a king in this building also, King Faisal.
I see.
Yes.
And he was deposed when, King Faisal?
Well, he died, and then somebody else, and then his son came, and then his son died, left behind him a little young boy. So the country was run by his uncle to his mom.
Right.
Okay, that young boy, and then that young boy became a king, and after that, a revolution happened in 1958. Abdul Karim Qasim and his people, and they basically he got killed, and I can take you to his grave with his family in that revolution, and Iraq became a republic.
And prior to that time, Iraq was occupied by the Ottomans for centuries.
Prior to that, the Ottomans they occupied Iraq over 400 years ago, but they. Assalamu alaikum.
The Tigris River.
Welcome.
Yeah, you see the river, as you saw, this river, the water this time of the year, it should be up all the way to the bank.
So how many meters higher would you say it would normally be?
I would say at least 6 to 7 meter high.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what has happened?
What happened is Turkey with the building dams, and what they are doing is they are taking the Iraqi share from the water in the Tigris River and the Euphrates River, actually. Both rivers, we are losing water. Therefore, we cannot, we had 2 years ago, we could not produce rice. Our farmers could not produce rice because they need water, and we don't have enough water to produce rice. And you know, rice is a main dish in Iraq, and it's called in our dialect timman. So that's what's going on actually. Now we have actually good water. We consider it good portion of water that's going through the river.
Which you currently have.
Yeah, because of the rains and because of the snow that's melting and all that, you know. And the area had a heavy rain actually the last 2-3 weeks. Pretty much you can see the ground. Like you come summertime, you can see, I mean, you can walk through.
You can walk across.
Yeah, you can walk through it across.
Wow.
Pretty much.
And that's unusual.
That's totally unusual, and it's like what I said. You see those banks? They were made to hold the water from going to the streets. That's during the 80s and 90s actually. You see, I mean, it's still very low. Look out this way.
Yeah.
It's still pretty low, pretty shallow. I mean, but we still say that, well, it's a good it's a good portion, you
Compared
know,
to recent years.
just to compare to recent years, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's pretty much.
So this is where you come to speak for your movement.
Yeah, every Friday we talk about what's going on, about the advantage of connecting Iraq to the Belt and Road Initiative, and what we should do to get rid of the American hand over our money.
And you stand here basically.
Yeah, exactly right here. I'll show
Right.
you. That's my Facebook. I usually put it on Facebook. That's how we gather people. And
Wow, that's quite a few people you got out there.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
are chanting.
Yep.
And what are they chanting?
They talk, they ask, they things, you know, they pretty much usually at the end either Kalla Kalla America, no to America, and things like that. But that's a poet. We
Let's see what they're chanting.
I usually that's me.
And what are you saying there?
I'm talking about the duty of the government is to support and to help making a strong society, and that society would be able to produce leaders. Those leaders would be able to lead the country to the good things, pretty much. What I'm trying to say is the government, the dawla, the government is not playing their roles, not taking their roles to make a strong, good society where that society can function and produce leadership and produce leaders to lead, to lead in every field in this country, pretty much. We are talking about corruption, how corruption is eating the country, and the lack of leaders, pretty much. So that's where we stand exactly, right? Right here.
Right.
You can get close to him also.
So what is this?
This basically is for doing, as you see, book. You see, covers, and this is the final steps for it. As you see, those books, and they basically glue them together. And they have their machines to print.
These look like ledger books for accountants. Is that what they are?
سجل الذمة. That's exactly accounting for what you have in personal. Let's say you work for a government, you have a rifle or you have something, it's on your...
Right.
Yep. So basically, your name is here and what you have, number, everything. سجل الذمة.
And this is right across the street from the that Ottoman Administrative Center, basically.
You see, here is this is their job. It's like what I said. Their job is whatever you need from books, whatever you need from stamps, whatever you need from printing, is in this area. This is the market for it.
You know what's interesting about Old Baghdad, the place where my hotel is, and between there and the airport, you see signs of American corporations everywhere, but here there isn't in Old Baghdad. I have not seen a single sign of any American entity whatsoever.
They
It's still
put it by themselves. Here, no. It's,
yeah.
that
It's
people here are different. People used to not work, usually this is a family job. If you ask them, هذا عمل عائلة مو حاج؟ عمل عائلة هذا يعني عائلتكم كانت تعمل دين؟ عائلتكم؟ That's a family business. صار له قد هذا الشغل؟
بالنسبة لي لو بالنسبة لعائلتي.
لعائلتك.
أنا بالنسبة لي صار لي 52 سنة.
For him, he been 52 years doing this job.
من والدي ماخذها.
زين وانت and he took it from his dad and his dad took it ابوك منين اخذها؟
من هو تعلمها.
هو تعلمها. His dad learned it from the market and pass it over to his son And probably one of his sons also is working on it right now.
What's this?
So this is family business.
What's this gentleman's name?
Shesme.
Ja'far.
Ja'far. His name is Ja'far.
Shukran.
Yeah,
Shukran.
in English they call it Jafar.
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 Thank you.
Yeah, shukran. Shukran.
This is Dimitri Lascaris. I'm now standing at Febdos Square in central Baghdad. Behind me, there once was a massive statue of Saddam Hussein. That statue, as those of you who were alive back then and old enough to be paying attention to these sorts of things, was dismantled. It was taken down, as I recall, with a crane by Iraqis who were celebrating the demise of Saddam Hussein. And I distinctly recall how the American press presented that, the Western press, as the moment at which the great liberating forces of the United States and Britain and their allies were going to bring, at long last, robust democracy and human rights to Iraq. And while the departure of Saddam Hussein was certainly embraced and celebrated by many Iraqis, it didn't turn out that the Americans delivered democracy and freedom to the people of Iraq.